Hello everyone, this hour on Verbling, the next in my Getting Results in Business series. We're going to be doing part 5 of our unit on customer service, talking about service. This unit started by presenting vocabulary for discussing customer service and then key phrases for dealing with customers on the phone. But now we're going to work on register, informal and formal language, and the formality of a conversation with different kinds of customers. So we're going to work on that in just a minute. First, a quick introduction about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up. That means when you're not speaking, turn off your microphone so we can keep the classroom quiet. When you are speaking, tune in to the new words you're learning. Use them actively so that I can correct you and give you feedback. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. And I'm going to put on screen right now our presentation while I say hello to all the new faces out there. So in this unit, we've been talking about customer service. We're going to be doing, this is part 3. This is actually the 5th class, but it's part 3 of our unit. And take a look at this. We started with vocabulary about talking about customer service, then key phrases for dealing with customers. Today, we're going to work, oops, that's not right. Hold on a second, something's wrong here. Oh, sorry, this is wrong. This is practically speaking. No, it is right. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it is right. It's right. Sorry. It's part 3 where it says today we're going to be reassuring and sympathizing, learning the vocabulary, practical vocabulary, and register. Register means how formal and how informal. We're going to be working on those skills to reassure and sympathize customers, particularly ones that have a problem with the service in some way. So that's our plan for today. We'll also put to use things that we've learned earlier in the unit. So before we get started, let me just say hello to new people. And Julia, I think you are a new person, so let's say hello to Julia. How are you?
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Ah, wait, your voice sounds familiar. Maybe you're not new.
Yeah, I already attended your classes, John.
Yeah, I recognize your voice, but your picture is different.
I don't know. It was
I think
already
you had a different picture. Okay, well anyway, I recognize your voice. Where are you from, Julia?
I'm from Russia, from Moscow.
From Moscow, okay. Yeah, this sounds familiar. I think we've met. I remember. So welcome back, Daniel and Jesus. Nice to have you as well.
Hello.
Hello again.
Okay, very good. And also, our friend whose name is very difficult to pronounce. Tati Tulin. How do I say your name again? You got to remind me.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I called you
Right.
Tati, didn't I, before?
Okay.
Yeah. Was that right? Tati?
It's up to you. Yeah.
All right. Like the French filmmaker Jacques Tati.
Oh, really?
Do you know that?
No.
No? Oh, one of the greats. Here, I'll send you a link to a movie you should see. Hold on a second.
Oh, okay.
So when anyone calls you Tati, you know who they're talking about. 1 second. Let's see if I can find a link. Ah, here we go. Here, I'll send you a Wikipedia to Jacques Tati. But you can see there's a link for you. You can see
Thank you.
a very famous movie called Playtime. So, and welcome back, Yuki, of course. Super student Yuki. Hello.
Nice to see you again.
So let's take a look at our presentation. Okay, so we're going to focus more on the practical skills today. I do want to revisit what we did in the last class, but do it in a more freer, fluent way, which was to work on key expressions. Remember, at the end of every presentation, I put some tools for you to use I always say if you want to cheat, you can go to the last page. So let's take a look. On the last page, you have a transcription of the audio that you're going to hear. And on the second to last page, you have our key phrases for different languages. Requesting information, establishing facts, clarifying and checking, promising action, referring to deadlines. All of this vocabulary we used in the last class last Thursday. So if you want to cheat, just go to the second last page and you've got your key expressions. You've got to use these actively in the class when we do the activity. All right? So, but let's go back to the beginning. You're going to hear, oh wait, we got a new person. We've got Jose, I think it is. Hello, Jose. How are you?
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. I'm fine, teacher. And about you?
Your name is not Jose, it's Jose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ah,
Perfect pronunciation, teacher.
good. No, because I could hear you sound like you have a little bit of a Brazilian accent, so I thought you were Brazilian. Am
Yeah,
I right?
I'm from Brazil.
Okay, fantastic. Well, listen, everyone. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a bit of reviewing of what we did before, but we're going to do it in a new context. So we're going to use those key expressions, but we're going to first. It's always good to get input by listening. So I want you just to use your ears for this activity. We're still talking about customer service. We're still building up a vocabulary, but we want to look at a practical situation. So it asks us to listen to 4 short conversations and identify what happens in each conversation. What's the situation? Okay, so I'm going to ask you to just use your ears. Then we'll listen again and read together. So we're gonna see exactly whatever we missed. We'll see it in just a minute. Okay. So here we go. Listen carefully. Conversation 1. 2 people are speaking. Person A says, "How's the new job going?" Person B says, "Today was terrible. I couldn't remember any of the training we did last week." Person A says, "I know it's hard at first, but you'll soon find your feet." Think about that expression. Find your feet. Okay, that's conversation 1 of 4. Conversation 2. Person A, "How did the call with that difficult client go?" Person B, "The client asked to speak to my boss, but I know I followed procedures exactly." Person A, "Yes, I'm sure you did the best you could." Conversation 3 of 4. Person A, "What's the matter?" Person B, "I've just been on the phone for an hour with the most difficult customer." Person A, "Oh, how awful." Conversation 4 of 4. Person A, "You seem a bit unhappy." Person B, "Yes, I've broken the bulb in the data projector and they cost €200 to replace." Person A, "Oh no." So, 4 situations. What I'd like you to do is just identify what happened in each situation that you heard. So let's see if we can recap, just based on one listening, if you can tell me the situation that you heard in each. So, maybe we should go backwards. Let's start with the last one first. What happened in conversation 4? What do you think the situation was?
The first day in a work, in a job,
In conversation 4 or conversation 1?
and one.
Conversation 1. First day on the job, I agree. Okay, Daniel. And was it good or bad?
I think person B getting into the job and he's now getting a training, but he think it is terrible, and person A is anxious about it and asking that he already get accustomed with it.
So person A is anxious? Like
No,
worried?
not anxious. I think he just interested in the situation, current situation now.
What's he trying to do? What's person A trying to do to person B? Person B had a bad day, right?
person A just to asking that what's the situation now. He already get used to the work.
Right. So by asking him about it, what's he trying to do? Emotionally, what's he trying to do?
I think he's trying to cheer him up.
Cheer him up. Okay, good. Yeah. Maybe cheer him up or even
Compassion, maybe.
show compassion. But the word we're looking for is reassure. Reassure. Clear? Not clear. Reassure. If I don't hear anything, that means that it's not clear. Clear?
No.
Not clear.
No.
Not
Could you write it down, please?
I will write it down. In our notes document, when I get it open, I'm going to put all the vocabulary in one place.
Okay.
Okay, so reassure means, like Yuki said, to show compassion, but specifically to make the person understand that it's going to be okay. You reassure by making them understand it's going to be okay. Don't worry. I'm reassuring you when I say don't worry. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, a
Now
little more
it's
clear?
Yes.
Yeah? A little clear. Okay, so on page, I can never see the page numbers. Hold on a second. Well, anyway, I'm going to add the vocabulary to class 5 under unit 21. I can't see the page number, but I'll tell you in just a second. I have to change the view to print layout so I can see the page number. Looks like it's on page 5. Yeah. So if you go to page 5, you'll see our first vocabulary. Reassure. And he reassured us by saying that it would all work out. So there's an example. He reassured us by saying it would all work out. Okay, so you can see that's number 1 on page 5 of the notes, and the notes are in the chat window if you need a link. Okay? So I'll put all the vocabulary there so that you can get it in one place. If I put it in the chat window, it might disappear and then you'll forget it. So I'll put it in the document. Okay, so we covered number 1. What about the other conversations? What about the other 3? Did anyone pick up any details from conversations 2, 3, and 4?
In the conversation 2, person A have a difficulty to treat a client. No?
He had a difficulty to. What do you mean by treat a client? Is he a doctor and he has to give the client a treatment?
I think she is a salesperson, maybe.
Maybe. Okay. And what was the problem with the client? I mean, what was the issue? Not the actual thing, but I'm saying, what was the gist of the conversation with the client? Did it go well? Did it go badly?
There is no clear detail in this conversation, but I think there is some trouble with the client. Client have some desire to do something.
We all have a desire. The client, let's be more specific. The client complained,
Yes.
made a complaint, right? Client made a complaint. And the problem is, the client complained to whom? Do you remember?
Boss? No?
Exactly. So the client went to the boss of the person, and the person is worried about it. And again, what does person A do to reassure person B? I don't know if you remember what he said, but what does person A do to reassure person B? Did anyone catch it?
He wish best.
Something like that. We use the word best. I'm sure you did the best you could, is actually what he said. Yeah, wished him, not really wishing him, but just reassured him that he did his best. In other words, don't worry. You did your best. You're not going to get into trouble. All right? What about the rest of you? Jose, Julia, Tati, did you pick up any details from conversations 3 and 4? Or was it too difficult?
In dialogue 3, maybe the client was disappeared,
Right.
and his, for example, the sales friend says that you did the right thing, just like that.
So he was talking to the client. How was he talking to the client? What was the context, the situation?
For example, what's the matter?
Exactly.
What's the matter?
So let's do this. Maybe it's a little difficult to get some of the details. So let's read it together because these are really, really short. So instead of listening, we're going to read it together. And my question is, how does the first speaker ask about the situation in a conversation? In other words, what expression is used to reassure? There's that word again, reassure. Okay,
could
so
you write this word, reassure?
I did.
It's spelling.
I wrote it in chat box.
Ah, really? Where?
A bubbling chat.
But all the
Reassure.
notes are always right here. Just take a look. On page 5, if you want to see any keywords, they're right here. So today is class 5. You see reassure and an example. Okay, and any other vocabulary that comes up, I'll put it under class 5, which is today's class. Clear, Julia?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. So, but you're welcome to write in the chat window as well. So let's go to the the dialogue. Let's read through these really quick because they're very short, and then I'll ask that question again. What expression is used to reassure? Okay. So let's start with well, Julia and Tati. Can you do number 1 for us? Julia, you be A, Tati, you be B.
Okay.
Go for it.
Okay. How is the new job going?
Today was terrible. I couldn't remember any of the training we did last week.
I know, it's hard at first, but you'll soon find your feet.
Very good. You'll soon find your feet. Keep that in mind. Let's go to the second one with Jose and Jesus. Jose, can you read A? Jesus, could you read B? Jose, you got to turn on your microphone.
Oh, sorry, teacher.
There we go.
Which always happen.
Okay, go for it, Jose.
The second one, is it?
Second one, that's right.
Okay. How did the call with that difficult client go?
The client asked to speak to my boss, but I know I followed the procedure exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm sure you did the best you could.
There you go. I'm sure you did the best you could. Jose, just repeat 2 words. The client asked.
The client asked.
That's it, with a T at the end.
Asked.
Good. And the last word, exactly, with a Z like zebra.
Exactly.
That's it. Exactly. So you have to imagine it's spelled E-K-Z. Exactly, with a K and a Z. Very good. That's it. Very good. Okay, and let's go with Amir and Yuki for number 3. This one's really short. Amir, can you read A?
Okay. What's the matter?
I've just been on the phone for 1 hour with the most difficult customer.
How awful.
How awful. Poor Yuki. How awful.
How awful.
And very good, very good. And let's go back with, maybe we need to repeat someone here. So let's go back with Daniel and, well, let's go back to Tati. Daniel and Tati, can you do 4? Tati, you be A. Daniel, you be B.
Okay. You mean a bit unhappy? Well, you seem a bit, I can't see that. You mean a bit unhappy?
You seem a bit.
I'm sorry, screen very little. I can't see exactly all words.
What about this? If I move it over.
Ah, yeah, it's better. You seem a bit unhappy.
Yes, I've broken the ball in the data projector and they cost 200 euros to replace.
Oh no!
Oh no, how terrible. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go back here. Whoops, there we go. I got to make this a little bit smaller. I can't fit it on the screen. First of all, before you get to this, where am I? I'm in the wrong place. Sorry. 1 second. There we go. It says listen again. Well, we read it, so we didn't just listen to it, we read it actively. How does the first speaker ask about the situation in each conversation? What expressions do you remember for reassuring the other person? Class, give me one. What do you remember was used to reassure the second speaker? Give me one, Daniel.
You'll do your best.
Yeah. I'm sure you did your best. Right? In this case, it's the past. I'm sure you did your best. Okay?
Yes.
What else?
You could have done it.
Oh no!
Oh no! In other words,
Yeah.
you're sympathizing. Oh no. Okay.
You'll soon find your feet.
Find your feet. Yeah. What does that mean? What do you think that means, Yuki? You'll soon find your feet.
You'll be better. No?
Yeah. You'll get better.
Next
Soon you'll
time.
get better. It's like when you're dancing and you trip over yourself. You can't find your feet when you're dancing, right? You're not coordinated. So if you soon find your feet, you'll get your coordination. You'll get used to it.
You get used to it.
You'll get used to it.
You'll become familiar with it.
Exactly. You'll become familiar very soon, so don't worry. Okay, very good. So let's go into part 3 here. Which is the best response to each situation, A or B, and why? Amir, let's start with you for A. You read A. Which is the best response to each situation, A or B? So yeah, you read. Because we've got two choices. One of them maybe sounds too direct. One of them sounds a little bit more polite. So you have to choose which one sounds best. Could you read A and B and number 1 for us, Amir?
Okay. So what should I do?
So just read our choices in part 3, the first one.
Okay. Which is the best response to each situation, A or B, and why? 1, A, forget it. B, I know it's hard at first, but you will soon find your feet.
Very good. Which sounds best? Which sounds more polite, A or B?
B for sure. I know it's hard at first, but you will soon find your feet.
Absolutely. So these are pretty obvious, but we're doing this so that you can get these expressions into your memory, because it's pretty obvious which is the right one. But yeah, I know it's hard, you'll find your feet. You're sympathizing, you're reassuring. By the way, look at the top of this. Look at the top of the screen. What do you see at the very top of the screen?
See, reassuming and sympathy.
Exactly. Reassuring and sympathizing. So that's what we're working on right now. All right.
Yeah, exactly. So what does find your feet here mean?
So, as Yuki was saying earlier, Yuki, remind him what you said earlier.
Yes, find your feet means you'll become familiar with it. You'll get used to it.
Is that clear, Amir?
Yeah.
So in other words, when you get familiar, it'll be easier. So don't worry. When you get familiar, it'll be easier. That's find your feet. You'll get familiar
You
with
will be
it.
accustomed to new situation.
Yeah, that's it.
I am confident in it.
There you go. So the metaphor is learning how to dance. We use this expression when we're talking about learning how to dance. You'll find your feet. You'll learn to do the tango. But here, it's a metaphor for a business situation or a new situation. You don't know how to do it, you've got to learn the dance. Sometimes we say learn the ropes as well, same expression. Let's say a quick hello to, someone just joined us. Who was it? Jesus number 2. We've got Jesus number 1, our koala, and Jesus number 2 wearing a very fancy suit and necktie. Hello, Jesus.
Hello, Jan.
Nice to have you. So I'm going to say Jesus. I'm going to say Jesus Lopez for you, and I'm going to say Jesus Bravo for Mr. Koala, so we know who's who. Okay?
Okay.
Jesus Lopez, where are you from? Are you from Spain?
I'm from Spain. Yes.
You're both from Spain.
Yes.
So I'm not going to tell you apart. But okay, I'll try to use your last names. Okay, so Daniel, could you read number 2 for us and tell us which is the best choice to reassure or sympathize?
I'm sure you did the best you could. It sounds as you don't care. The first one, I'm sure you did the best you could.
Obviously. I'm sure you did the best you could. Even if it's not true, you've got to say it.
If
Okay.
you are a bad co-worker, you said, it sounds as if you don't care.
Yeah. I've seen plenty of those in my time. But not here. We're not going to do that here. No, no. Okay, and Jose, could you read number 3 for us?
You did the right thing. How awful.
So here, maybe it's not so clear. If your goal is to reassure someone or make them feel better, what would you say?
I don't have sure, teacher.
I am not sure.
I'm not sure, sorry. Sometimes I try to translate in my Portuguese. Sorry.
I am not sure.
I'm not
Well,
sure.
which one is more emotional, more of a connection with the person, where you're trying to make a connection?
How awful.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. It's how awful. So if you're trying to make a connection and reassure someone, you're gonna try to say, you understand how the situation was. How awful. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. So that's probably the better response here because it's more emotional. And the same goes for number 4. So Tati, could you read number 4 for us?
Yeah. You couldn't have done any more. Oh no.
So if you want to make if you want to make a connection with the person and make them feel better.
Yeah. It's according for this dialogue, for example, he break the bulb,
Exactly.
which costs 200 euro, and his friend tried to reassure him. Oh no.
Right. Right. Well, in this case, it's even more sympathizing than reassuring, right? Because you couldn't have done any more as reassuring, but to make that emotional connection, it's a simple expression. Oh no, how awful! I'm so sorry to hear that. Okay, so I agree. You all picked the right answers, and it wasn't that difficult in this situation to understand it. Now, here's what you're going to do: pick a partner. Question, Tati?
No, I just want to edit in a fourth situation. I think he tried to reassure him, but it's better to say, okay, I've paid half of this price. It's real reassure.
It would be very generous, but it's not going to happen.
Okay.
I think it's unlikely. Maybe. You never know. I'm sure you would. But here's our plan. You're going to pick a partner. You're going to have a short conversation using these situations or one of your own. And your goal is to reassure and sympathize in the most natural way possible. You can use any of the key expressions we just learned. You can use them if you like. You'll find your feet. You did the best you could. How awful. Oh no. Or you can use anything that sounds good. If it needs correction, I'll put it in the notes and correct it. Otherwise, I'll say, oh, sounds great. All right? So, imagine a difficult interview, like a job interview. A difficult interview. So, let's get two people to have a short conversation, a difficult interview. Daniel, let's imagine you had a very difficult job interview and you're worried. And you go to speak to whom, Daniel?
Okay.
Who do you speak to? You have to pick a partner.
Oh, I had a hard and difficult interview.
Who are you talking to, Daniel? Pick a partner.
Ah, okay.
Pick a partner first.
Jesus.
Jesus. Which Jesus?
Koala.
Koala
Okay.
Jesus.
Thank you, Daniel.
Okay, so here's how the conversation is going to work. You're person A, Daniel.
Yes.
So you're going to state the problem. Person B is going to sympathize or reassure. You have a chance to follow it up with one sentence, and Koala has a chance to follow it up with one answer. So 4 lines in our conversation, just like the ones we were listening to. Okay?
Okay.
And then we're gonna switch roles. So go for it, Daniel.
Okay. Oh, I'm really tired. Yesterday I had a very difficult interview. I'm really sad.
I'm sure you did your best.
Back
For
to
sure.
Daniel.
For sure.
Daniel, you're still worried. You're still worried. So what do you say?
Thank you, but I feel under the weather.
You feel under the weather. Wait, are you sick?
Yeah, no.
Are you sick or are you worried, Daniel?
No, I feel blue.
I feel down.
I feel down. I feel down.
Okay, you've got to reassure him more, Jesus.
Come on, cheer up. Let's go to have a beer.
Yeah, I agree. No problem for that.
Very good. So we got a new expression. Cheer up. Don't worry. Cheer up. Don't worry. I'm putting this on page 5, by the way. So cheer up. Don't worry. Let's go for a beer. The expression is to go for.
To go for, okay.
Let's go for a beer. Okay, very good. So, Jesus, how about you, and let's go with you and Jose. An argument with a colleague. You had an argument with a colleague, Jesus. You're very worried about it, and you're going to try to ask Jose for a little bit of reassurance.
Okay.
Are you ready, Jesus?
Me is.
No. This is Koala Jesus.
Okay.
First. So the last person who is person B is going to become person A in the next dialogue.
Okay.
So, an argument with a colleague, you and Jose. Ready?
Okay. Well, I'm very worried because I had an argument with a college, and it seems I don't know. I'm very worried about it. I'm very annoyed with him.
Or I'm so sorry to hear that.
Good. That's all you have to say. You reassured him, I'm so sorry. But, Jesus, you're not... What you say? You're still worried.
Well, what I would do?
What should I do?
What should I do? Sorry. What should I do?
Good. Jose, what should he do?
I think you go do the better for both. Thinking about it.
Say again, Jose. I didn't quite catch it. You should do what?
I think that you do the best for both.
You know how to do the best.
How to do the best for both. You will be okay with him.
Okay, so here's what I would say. Instead of saying you know how to do the best, I would probably say you did your best. You probably did your best. So take a look on page 5 of our notes. I'm writing, you did your best, I'm sure. I didn't hear the last sentence that you said. You said, but I'm going to change that. Instead of you know how, I'm going to change it to you did your best, I'm sure. And I guess if you want to add something, you could say he'll get over it. Do you know that expression? To get over it.
Oh.
So you see where we are, Jose? Let me share my screen. I'm on page 5 of our notes, which is the second document I shared. Can you see this right now? And I'm on page 5, and I just wrote my corrections to your response.
Oh.
Here. See it?
Yeah, teacher. Okay. I don't have that document with me.
Okay. So you just click on the chat window.
To chat window. Can you bubbling chat window?
You can just put the link in the chat window if you want to open it. Okay?
Oh, okay.
So let's try that dialogue again. This time I want you to switch roles and see if you can use the correction. Okay? Let's try it again. Maybe we can switch roles this time. So Jose, you're the one with the difficult colleague, the argument. You're talking to Jesus. Jesus, don't forget to use the corrected text on the screen.
Okay.
Try again. Jose, you go first.
Oh, today was a bad day. I have a terrible argument with my friend.
Very good. Jesus?
Oh, what's awful?
That's good enough. You reassured him. So you said what? How awful?
Sí, yes, sorry. Oh, how awful.
That's good for now. Now, Jose, okay. You're not entirely reassured, so you have to take it a step further. How do you feel now, Jose? He said, how awful? He's on your side. What do you say? Are you still worried?
Well, I'm still worried about that terrible argument. I think that I'm not sure if I will fix it with my friend.
Very good. And Jose, what can you say to reassure him? Don't forget about the language we just learned.
Well,
sorry. Jose, that was Jesus. I'm sorry, Jesus.
Okay.
Well, you should talk with him. I think you are a strong person, and you will get over.
You will get over, or he'll get over it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to cheer him up, or trying to reassuring Jose.
So I agree. You're a strong person. Good.
You're a strong person. I'm talking to Jose.
Right, but if you say get over it,
yes.
that's talking about the guy he had the argument with.
Oh.
Right, because if you say you'll get over it, it means that you have to move on with your life. But he didn't do anything wrong, so he doesn't have to move on, right?
Okay.
I guess he didn't do anything wrong. If you're saying,
I changed the subject, no? Okay. You should talk with him. Come on, he'll get over it.
There you go.
He'll get over it.
There you go. It makes more sense if you say he'll get over it in this context. Okay. You'll get over it if you break up with your girlfriend. If you get a divorce, you'll get over it. But if it's about an argument and you're worried, you're trying to say, don't worry, he'll get over it. It's not as serious as you think. Okay, very good.
Thank you.
So let's see, we may have time to do one or two more. So let me get this back on the screen. And maybe I can go with, how about we do, well, Jesus, our new Jesus Lopez. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay.
So my level is lower. My speak is very bad.
I will help. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So, Jesus, you are going to reassure Yuki. Yuki has a problem. He's going to ask you for help. You can use any of the expressions we've learned, including the expressions we just added to our notes, and I'll help you reassure him, okay? So, Yuki, your problem is there was a long negotiation about a new company policy, and you're worried about it. You don't want to lose money. You don't want to look bad and lose your job. You're quite worried. You ask your friend Jesus for help.
To listen, today was terrible. I have what's the problem? Could you repeat again? Sorry.
Number 3, problem 3 on the list.
A long negotiation about new company policy. Okay. Today was terrible. I had a long negotiation about the new company policy. I don't know how to cope with it.
So, Jesus, he doesn't know how to cope with it means he doesn't know how to deal with the problem. Did you understand the problem, more or less?
Yes. Yes.
Very good. All you have to say is something to reassure him. That's it. That's what we're practicing. What could you say quickly to make him feel a little better from what you heard in the class so far? What could you say to reassure him?
You can say, don't worry, Yuki.
Exactly. Don't worry. It's good enough. Yuki, you're still worried. You're still worried. He said, don't worry, but you're still worried.
Thank you for your kind word. You always encourage me. I'm very appreciate your help.
But you're still a little bit worried, Yuki.
But I don't know how to do it. Do you have any advice?
So, Jesus, now think about some of those key expressions we used. You've got to further, in the first instance, you sympathize with him. Don't worry. You reassured him, but more sympathize. Now you've got to really reassure him and get him to calm down. So what could you say from what you heard today in class? What could you say to further reassure him? Think of one of those key expressions. If you like, you can also take a look at our dialogue. Could you say one of those?
Okay. What's the matter?
Matter is that I had a long negotiation today about the new company policy, but we couldn't reach the decision. We couldn't decide the policy. We lost our policy. I don't know. I don't know how to do.
We couldn't reach a decision. Is good.
We couldn't reach that decision. What is your idea? I'm sorry for this difficult question.
So, Jesus, all you've got to do is reassure him. That's it. You don't have to have a real opinion. Just reassure him. So instead of saying don't worry, what could you say a little further? If you like, use any of the expressions from the listening we did earlier. Look at the transcripts. You can use any of those as well.
I don't understand. Sorry.
Okay, someone help him out. What could he say? What could Jesus say to further reassure Yuki? Could he use any of those expressions in the transcript? Class, help him out.
I'm really confused. Please give me a words.
Someone help Yuki out. Julia, what do you suggest?
Yeah, he could say, cheer up, you could have done more, you already did the best you could.
Perfect.
Oh,
That's it.
You said a good thing.
What do you think, Jesus? Is that clear? Jesus Lopez, is that clear what she said?
Clear?
Clear. Es claro.
Yes.
Okay, good. So, a short answer could be, don't worry. A longer answer could be exactly what Julia said. I'm sure you did the best you could. Cheer up. It's always darkest just before dawn. It always looks worse than it is. Okay? So, that's an example. As you can see, all you've got to do in this exercise is just take something that you heard, try it out for yourself. See how it sounds, see how it feels to say it. And if you come up with something new, I'll correct you and make it sound like a native speaker. Okay? So I like what Julia said, right? Again, I'm sure you did the best you could. So cheer up. Don't worry about it. You'll get over it. It always looks worse than it is, whatever we said. Okay, very good. So I think we have time to maybe to do one more. So let's get some people who haven't spoken here. Maybe I could have, let's see who's left here. So Amir, because I haven't heard from you, maybe you and Tati could try one. Now, again, remember the structure here. Person A states a problem. Person B sympathizes. Person A is still worried. Person B has to reassure. So the structure looks like that. You can use any of the expressions you see on screen or anything that we've put in the notes. Okay? So, Tati, why don't you be person A with the problem, and the problem you're going to be dealing with, let me go back, is number 5, and I'm going to give you a little bit of help this time. On the screen, you're going to see some of the expressions we've already used. So your problem, Tati, is a tough presentation to a new client. You did a presentation, it didn't go well. Tough questions and things like that. You're very worried. And you ask Amir, you tell this to Amir because you're worried, okay?
Okay, anything what I want, yeah?
Say again?
Anything what I want concerning about situation, any situation.
Situation is situation number 5 on the screen. A tough presentation. A tough presentation to a new client.
A tough presentation to a new client.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, your friend Amir wants to know how your day was. What would you say to him? Tati?
I don't understand. What should I do? What about your presentation to a new client?
You're the one who had the presentation. You're the one who had the presentation, Tati. You're the one who had the difficult day. You are asking for advice or help to Amir.
Okay. I have a tough presentation to a new client.
To a new client?
Mm-hmm. To our new client.
Okay, give us a detail. How do you feel?
I feel terrible.
Okay.
I'm very nervous. My hands trembling.
Oh
and my heart beat hard.
Oh my goodness. Amir, you've got to sympathize with her. What could you say to sympathize?
Oh my God. I'm sure you did the best you could.
Okay, very good. Tati, you're still worried. So give him a little more information. You're still worried.
Oh no, don't worry
Tati,
about it.
Tati, give him a little more information because you're still worried.
this client try on maybe 20 pair of shoes but didn't buy any one.
Oh my goodness. Your presentation was about shoes?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So the client tried lots of products, didn't make a decision, and didn't buy anything in the end. Okay. Amir, you've got to further reassure now.
So why didn't he buy any more from you? I think that you have nice shoes and you are a beautiful woman
Oh my goodness.
to give him attention.
Yes, it's
So
very,
why
very.
didn't he buy from you?
I try to suggest him about this pair of shoes, but they're small for him, and about another pair of shoes, they're too big for him, and he didn't like the color. And if he likes the color, he didn't like the model. If he liked the model, it isn't his size. I don't know what to do. Really, I'm very, very upset.
Yeah, I think that's your problem because you didn't convince him how to buy your new shoes.
What's that? Are you reassuring her, Amir? So, don't blame
I think
her. You've got to reassure her.
Yeah.
Just reassure her.
He put more oil in a fire.
No. You've got to
Yeah, he
reassure.
needs to convince him to buy her new shoes.
Wait a second, Amir.
Yeah.
You've got to reassure her. Don't make her more worried.
Amir, maybe he is my boss.
Oh my goodness. Oh no. How about this, Amir? How about this?
Yeah, okay.
Tati, I know it's hard, but it sounds like you did everything you could by trying out different styles and different sizes. So it sounds like you've done all you could. Just try to forget it and move on. Do you feel better now, Tati?
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. So Amir, you've got to reassure her. All right.
Because I need to encourage my confidence.
Exactly. You've got to pluck up. In other words, let it go and be confident. Okay, so look, we've done a few of these expressions. We're going to come back to these later in the unit. Let me give you a quick preview of where we're going. In the last section of the unit, before we get to our final role play or simulation, before we get to the final activity, we're going to look at a little bit of grammar using direct and indirect questions. So maybe what we can do here is just do just the very beginning of this to give you a sense of what we're talking about, and we'll go into more detail tomorrow. If you're dealing with customers, you sometimes have to be more polite than you normally would, and we do that by using indirect questions. So it asks us in this exercise to match the indirect questions from audio 19 to the equivalent. Let's go back to audio 19. Do I have a copy of it here? No, I don't. So I'll put that on screen for you in just a second. Give me a second here, and I'll get audio 19. There we go. In previous classes, we listened to and read 3 conversations. Okay? I don't know if you recall these conversations. Some of you might not have been here. So let's do this. Maybe what we can do here is look at the first conversation. We'll review it quickly, and we'll identify the direct versus indirect questions, just so we have a good introduction. And then tomorrow we'll go into much more detail about the difference, how to form an indirect question, and we'll try it out in a real situation. Okay? So maybe I could just have 2 people read conversation 1. So maybe I could have, I don't know, Jose and Julia. Do you think you could read conversation 1 between Boris and Paola for us as a review? Sure. Okay, so you'd be Boris? Yeah.
Okay.
Can you see it okay?
Yeah, uh, the screen is not good, but I'll try. Okay.
You want me to make it bigger?
Yeah. Okay, it's good. Now it's good.
Let me just scroll up. Give me a second. Let me scroll up a little bit. Okay, I'll scroll down as we move down. Okay.
Okay. Let's go. Hello, procurement. Boris speaking.
Hi, Boris. This is Paola from sales in the Milan office. I have a question about an order placed.
What seems to be the problem?
It's the approval for our training course. The course should begin next week, but the training company hasn't received the signed contract from us.
Okay. Could you give me the order number and I will look into it.
It's 02584.
No, it's not. It's O2. What's
I
that
don't
symbol?
know how to read it. Could you
Anyone
please
remember
spell
from
it?
last week? Anyone remember? Does anyone remember from last week how to say that? Bar? Does anyone remember?
Bar.
No?
No.
No one remembers? You were here.
Sorry, I lost it.
It's the guitarist for Guns N' Roses. What's the guitarist from Guns N' Roses? No one? No one remembers Guns N' Roses? Well, I don't blame you. The guitarist's name is Slash.
Oh,
Slash.
Ah,
It's
So,
the guitar man.
slash.
yeah, so that's what a slash looks like. It looks like a bar. So, try again.
It's 02/584.
Good.
Can you tell me when you sent it to us?
At least a month ago. Training direct need the contract before the course can begin. That's by Friday at the latest.
Let me get this straight. What you're saying is we will still have the contract and you need it back. Signed by us?
Signed by us.
Signed by us?
Well, yes.
Okay. These things do take time. I'm afraid. Oh, I have the contract here. What I will do is check the figures and see if Angela can sign it by tomorrow. If you give me the fax number of Trying Direct, I will fax it straight to them and post you a copy.
Will it be ready in time for the deadline?
I will do my best.
Okay, very good. So, here's my question for you. First, what was the problem in this dialogue? Because I think this was the first time you saw it. We saw it last week, but I think for the two of you it was the first time. Okay, so what was the problem? Quickly, before we go, what was the problem?
There were no contract in time.
There was a problem with the contract? I couldn't hear what you said.
There was no contract in time.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't signed or something, so that they couldn't continue with the training they had to do because it wasn't signed. By the way, I'm putting the link to this in the internal chat because this is presentation 2 and we've been using presentation 3. All right, next question. Let's look at the grammar quickly before we run out of time. Just quickly. Were there direct or indirect questions used in this conversation between Boris and Paola? Class, in general, what do you think? Were there direct or indirect questions? And give me an example.
Direct question is, for example, could you give me the order number?
Is that direct or indirect?
It's direct.
Could you give me the
Indirect.
order number?
No.
Could you give me the order? Could you give me? Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way.
Maybe what seems to be the problem? It's a direct.
Indirect.
Yeah, that's more clear. It is. What seems to be the problem is clearly a direct question. Clearly direct question. You have to answer. You have to give information. In indirect questions, we ask to ask something. Typically, we have to ask twice in the same sentence. That's why could you give me is not a very clear direct question. It's a little bit more of an indirect question because it says could you. We're asking to do or we're asking to ask. Can anyone pick out another example of an indirect question in the conversation one?
Can you tell me when you send it to us?
Exactly. Can you tell me? So instead of saying, when did you send it? You say, can you tell me when you sent it? Instead of saying, give me the number, or will you give me the number, could you give me the number? So in fact, Yuki, you're actually right. Could you give me the number is in fact a direct question, but because it has could, it's a little bit more polite and therefore a little bit more indirect. So the best example is what Daniel said. For indirect, can you tell me when is a very clear example of indirect questions. Okay? One more thing before we go. Let's look at another question that Paula says. Paula asks at the end, will it be ready for the deadline? Jesus, how would you transform that into an indirect question? Jesus Koala. She says, will it be ready in time for the deadline? I want you to transform that into an indirect question using, can you tell me? Could you explain? Do you happen to know? Anything you want to make it indirect. What do you think, Mr. Koala? Jesus.
Mr. Koala.
Mr. Koala, are you there? Mr. Koala, are you not answering? Oh, I don't hear him. Okay, I'll open up to the group.
I would very much appreciate if you could be ready in time for the deadline.
Good, but that's not a question. It's indirect, but it's not a question.
Tell me when you are ready.
Almost. That's too direct. Make it a little softer. You need a modal verb. Can, could, will, would, shall, should, may, might, need to, ought to, dare. Choose a modal verb and put it first.
Would.
Would what?
Would you are ready.
Nope. Take what you said before. Take exactly what you said before and just add would to the front. So what did you say?
Would you prepare that in time for me, for the deadline?
Well, remember what I said. Ask to ask. So this is what I mean by ask to ask. Would you mind? Would
you mind if?
Would you
mind if you could be ready in time for the deadline?
Okay, that's fine. That's acceptable. And you can even simplify it a little bit. Would you mind being ready in time for the deadline? Would you tell me if it's possible to be ready? Is an even better example, because there I'm asking you to tell or asking you to ask. Would you mind, or what did I say? What's the last thing I just said? Would you mind telling me if it's possible or not now so that I can make my plans? Would you mind telling me? Or could you, or do you happen to know if it'll be ready by the deadline? That's another way to make it a little bit less direct. So those are some examples. Let's take this idea and in tomorrow's class, let's practice it in a more realistic way. Today I wanted you just to get the idea of what an indirect question is, the difference between what time is it and could you tell me what time it is, right? In the next class we're going to look at how the word order changes, and then we're going to try to apply that to a customer relation situation where you get a chance to practice that. Is that clear with everyone?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Are we cool?
Cool.
Yes.
Cool. All right.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool. All right. Let's stop here. I'll be back for 2 hours tomorrow, speaking skills at 10, and the next business class at 11 GMT, same as today. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.
Bye for now.
Bye
Take
for
care.
now. Bye-bye.